Okay, welcome to the Ren's Point of View channel. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Today I'm sat with a very interesting guest, the owner of this studio space, Luke. We spend a lot of time sitting here talking off camera. We talk about random stuff off camera, but we haven't recorded anything yet. While we're sat here waiting, the light bulb moment's happened, and we're gonna crack on with the recording.
100%.
Welcome to the show, Luke.
Thank you very much for having me, mate. It's like I say, obviously helped set the studio up before and stuff. We've had some really, really good conversations before.
Off camera.
So, all off camera. Do you remember the first time you came
Yeah.
to the studio?
Yeah.
Sat for like 2.5 hours.
Yeah, that was a gem. That was a gem.
I
Like if we recorded that, you know what I mean?
But yeah, thank you for having me. And like I said, I think there's some, from what I know about you and the stuff I've seen, we've got very, what's the word? Inquisitive minds.
Inquisitive mind, that's
So
the
I'm
word.
excited to see where this goes.
Yeah. So what were we talking about before? We were talking about we started off with a deep state,
Boeing.
the Boeing, the killing, and my point to it is it's billions. When it comes to millions of pounds, you can question, okay, then I might get killed, I might not get killed. But once you start talking billions and so Boeing is an establishment, right? Once you talk establishment and billions, it's out the window. People are going to die, you know what I mean? And that's the reality of it, you know what I mean? But then you then said, what about Elon Musk? What's Musk going to do about it? And I think he's part of this deep state. What's your take?
So my opinion is, you said to me when I talked about the Boeing, the whistleblower dying, you said to me, JFK, it's happened all the time. Deep state, killing off people when there's so much money at play. I said it's different now. I said the only reason it's different is because of Elon Musk, because in my opinion, we now have a space, a town square where people can come and speak without any type of censorship, which is because Elon Musk has bought Twitter. We didn't have that before. There were things which were suppressed. The point I'm making to you is now it's different because people can speak without any type of censorship. There's going to be no government as long as, in my opinion, Elon Musk is in charge of Twitter, who's going to say, you can't speak about this, you have to censor this, that. Conversations will take place, and thus, something like a whistleblower getting killed today is very different to a whistleblower getting killed when Twitter was owned by deep state sympathizers.
Yeah, but what I'm thinking is, what's going to be done about it? You know what I mean? So, people are talking about on Twitter, let's say all the chat is going out there. This guy's got killed. We all know it was a hit, it was an assassination. He gave his evidence. A little while later, he's dead. But nothing's happening about it. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's coming out saying, okay, we're going to investigate this. Because, you know, because like I mentioned before, JFK caught the magic bullet. Yeah, he didn't want to go to Vietnam. There were a few issues. He was going against the, what's the word again? The war machine, the American war machine. There's a word for him.
The military-industrial complex.
That's it. He was going against the military-industrial complex. And they took him out. Yeah, people say it's a mafia. However they went around doing it.
Who killed JFK?
The military-industrial complex.
Do you think so?
Yeah. But it's a joint effort. It's a joint effort. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. So apparently his dad was a bit dodgy, did business with the mafia.
Yep.
They got him to be the voting into power. Then all of a sudden the military-industrial complex, he's going against them. He didn't honor the deal with the mafia. He then didn't honor the deal with the military-industrial complex. So he had so many enemies against him. Like, whether or not they planned it together, whether or not Secret Service knew it was coming, they just allowed it to happen. You know what I mean?
Do you watch, well, I know you do, PBD, Valuetainment.
I do watch Valuetainment, yeah.
Did you watch his video recently on the JFK's dad? Or maybe even his granddad, the guy who started the Kennedy
No, I haven't seen that. I know about him, but I haven't seen the PBD.
Goes into a lot of detail about his family. And everything you said, spot on. I think his brother was it Attorney General or something like that?
He made his brother Attorney General, and his brother started going after the mafia.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So obviously they're like, you think that's it?
I think so. I think that's why his brother was killed. I think the CIA killed Kennedy.
Okay.
There's a guy, I can't remember his name, which is annoying, but he was extremely pro everything that JFK was against and vice versa as well. Can't remember what his name was, but he was the director of the CIA at the time of JFK's assassination. I watched a long video about it. And it wasn't just that as well. I think JFK was against the Vietnam War. I could be wrong. He was very hard on
he was against the Vietnam War. Hands down against it. Like, he wasn't planning on getting involved in that at all. You know what I mean?
Who was it who took after JFK? Was it
Nixon? Was it Nixon?
Might have been.
I think it was Nixon because he got placed there. and then he had the Watergate scandal later on. I think it was. Let me check it now. I got my phone in my hand. Let me check it.
Because I'm picturing a guy who's got a very like pulled back face. I can picture Nixon's face. But
Let me see. Who was president after JFK?
I think he was racist as well.
Who?
The guy who directly followed JFK.
Was he?
I believe so. Allegedly, based on his policies.
Lyndon Baines Johnson.
Lyndon B. Johnson. That's it.
Okay, I don't know who this guy is. Let me look at pictures.
From what I understand, there was. I think
Is that guy there?
That guy there.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. Yeah,
So,
I don't know
why,
guy.
but I just remember his face being pulled back.
Yeah.
The documentary I watched about JFK went into detail about how he might have had something to do with it as well. Some information about the shooter who killed JFK as well. Apparently, he was a CIA informant. It's fishy.
He works for the CIA, but he had to get killed before he could open his mouth.
Exactly.
Because he wasn't just him.
Mm-hmm.
There was a man on the hill. Like there's so many.
Wasn't there 3 shooters or something like that?
Yeah. That's a magic bullet because it's impossible to shoot a bullet from one angle, comes through there, then through the side, then back out that way, then comes back across. Yeah. So
how deep do you want to go on this podcast?
Let's go, man. Let's go. I'm just sending one message. Let's go.
Okay.
Yeah.
So JFK was taken out.
Mm.
There is somebody else in our day and age who is a threat to the establishment, the biggest threat. Trump. I think the deep state hates Trump.
But why didn't they kill him?
That's my next question. Do you think that
he's part of it? I think they all. There's different. So
I'm glad we're doing this.
There's rules to the game, innit? Yeah. So I think that Trump knows whose strings he can pull and whose he can't, who he could prod and poke, and who he can't. He's a very astute. No, I wouldn't even say businessman. He's a very astute. What's the word again?
Sounds like he's describing a puppet master.
No. He's good at he's not a puppet master. He's good at building relationships. He's been this entity fine because it's all money in it. He knows how to build these relationships because he can go to other countries and there'll be no war right now with Putin if Trump was there.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of he went to see Kim Jong-un or you know what I mean?
Korea.
So he can get through doors a lot of people can't are not willing to, and he can make decisions for himself because he's already got money. He doesn't need anybody to pay for his campaign or anything like that. Yeah, correct. So they can't buy him. Yeah, but I don't think if they could kill him, they would have killed him. Look what they did to Bowen guy.
Yeah, but I think
Trump is not. He's not a punk. You can't just kill Trump. You know what I mean?
That's it. You can't just kill Trump.
Nah.
But what can you do instead? You can try and ruin him. You can try and
No.
him.
But they how can I describe it? They can kill anybody. Can be killed. But they have to. They got their own rules that they follow, and for some reason they can't. They're not allowed to kill Trump. Does that make sense?
What do you think the consequence would be if we woke up tomorrow to the news that he'd been shot and killed? What do you think in America the reaction would be across all 330 million people who live there?
It depends who killed him.
It's mysterious.
No, but it depends who killed him. You know what I mean?
We don't know who's killed him. Let's just say we've woken up. It's mysterious. It's even. Let's just say we've woken up and Donald Trump's committed suicide, apparently, just like the Boeing whistleblower. How do you think that's going to go down in America?
It could be 2 ways. It could be civil war. It could be like the pro-Trump guys, MAGA guys, just go mad. But because he tried inciting overthrowing the government, and he's still walking around. He's not in prison.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
see, this is good.
But these guys are still the MAGA guys are still in prison. So, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I couldn't call it. But civil war it's possible.
So I like these types of conversations because I think there's a few things that we disagree on, but I think we're both, willing to kind of look at different perspectives. Because in my opinion, the whole January the 6th thing, that wasn't necessarily somebody trying to overthrow the government. I thought a big portion of it was entrapment by the FBI, based on what I've seen.
No, but it's not. How can I put it? He's on his way. He's in the cab. It's not. They entrap everyone. BLM was entrapment.
How so? Same
thing as the riot. The fire was stoked. I was watching something. You know Candace Owens?
Yeah, love Candace Owens.
Yeah, so do I. I like her a lot. And I was watching her the other day, and she said, which I know already, it was too organized. You know,
January 6th.
No, from the all of them. January the 6th was too organized. Yeah, BLM was too organized. From the George Floyd, how it just blew up around the world. This company, and then she leaned on the fact now that BLM the only legacy of BLM now is LGBTQ. The people that ran BLM own property. They collected all this money, and there's no signs of any progress for the black people. Black Lives Matter. It does no progress for the black people that it's meant to be representing. You know what I mean? But it was allowed to happen because there was a different agenda with that. Same as the rioters. You know what I mean?
So do you
the
think...
police were pulled away.
I can't remember the lady's name who was in charge of BLM. Do you think she is also on the same kind of spectrum as Donald Trump, deep state, basically?
No, I think that there's puppets in the deep state and there's players. Trump is a player. You understand? That's why he can't be killed. He hasn't been killed.
See, I don't think Trump's a player. That's my opinion.
You don't think he's a player? Oh, go on. Let me hear this.
My opinion. In your opinion, what...
No, go on. What do you, he's not a player. Let me hear what you got to say. You know, I've been talking a lot. You know,
America, in my opinion, is funded off war. So, Cold War, obviously, it was a race. A lot of money was spent, but also a lot of money was gained as well. The Biden administration, just like it's not bipartisan either. Because, for example, Joe Biden's doing the most continue this war. His speech that he did, I think it was State of the Union or something like that, he spent the entire thing saying how evil Putin is, how he's going to keep on funding Ukraine, whilst ignoring what's happening in America. The border's a mess. Nikki Haley is also a Republican, not a Democrat, same as Trump, and she was pro-war as well. I think she's deep state. I think Trump has paid off Trump's own stuff. I think the people in the deep state, your Joe Bidens, your Nikki Haley's and stuff, they've got stocks and shares in Lockheed Martin.
Yeah, the corruption.
Nancy Pelosi.
The corruption is...
Her husband's rich because he invested wisely in tech stuff, just as she was in control of that sort of stuff. So I think all these people are terrified of Trump because if he comes in and the machine stops and he cuts down the government staff numbers, it's complicated stuff. But I believe, based on the evidence, he's not one of the players.
He's not one of the players?
No. I think he... Again, do you know Vivek Ramaswamy?
No.
He was...
I heard the name. Go on.
He was running for the Republican nominee in the spot, basically. And it's very interesting. I think you'd like him a lot. Well, not maybe the things he says, but at least respect how honest he is about certain things.
Okay, yeah.
He puts things in a very clear perspective. Some of his policies are extreme, very isolationist. So I'm not saying I support his policies, but in terms of exposing the deep state and putting things in a certain way.
What we got to do? So one thing I want to talk about first, you mentioned the wars and money and everything. My theory to that, wars make money, right? Command and conquer, divide and conquer, whatever it is, makes money. And my theory is that, so I'm very deep on conspiracies and all that. You know that already. The reason the wars are there to make money, you know what that is?
Tell me.
Because the country, so you have to go and pillage to get money back. You give the loan to the citizens. The tax money from the citizens funds the war, right? And after the war happens, you then pillage that country's resources, but the money goes to the coffers of the people in charge. That's a deep state, right? The country is basically on a decline. So they got to look at ways of making money. Production isn't making money. Farming isn't making money. You know what I mean? Like, so the only way they can keep that, because if you think about it, it has to be a war every 5 years. They have to justify a war every something like that.
In order to continue to move in an upward trajectory.
Keep making money. Financially, yeah. And also, I was going to ask, that's just one little bit I had to say. What is a deep state? Because we're throwing this statement out here, the deep state, yeah? So, what do you make of the deep state? Because I know what I think of the deep state is, but I don't even know if we're having the same conversation regarding what the deep state is, you know what I mean?
It's very cliche.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But to me, the deep state are people who pull the strings, the unelected officials who, despite what we, the public, might vote for, will always be in power, will always have their preferences catered to in terms of finances, in terms of society. I mean, you mentioned BLM and all the George Floyd stuff in 2020. In my opinion, deep state must have had a role in that because the way it was distributed, as you said, to everybody.
It was too organized.
To an extent. I mean, obviously,
there were also talks. Now, I'm not saying they found the situation happened, which was it was a bad situation, but they milked it. So the protesters started off just protesting, and then there were apparently these military-style guys infiltrating the crowds and throwing bombs and, you know what I mean, like burning cars and stuff like that to incite the rioting. This was happening during that riot.
Why would they incite riots within...
To create the whole BLM.
What would that achieve long term?
Mind control.
How so?
Well, now, like Candy Someone said, LGBTQ.
Mhm.
So Black Lives Matter is not anything to do with Black lives. You know what I mean? It's more
Kind
for
of.
LGBTQ. It isn't. There's
Explain to me-
nothing financially has been done, as far as I'm aware. I'm just going from what I've seen out there.
I've seen Candace Owen speak about this a little bit, and a few other YouTube channels as well. And from what I understand, it's a pretty straightforward case of fraud with the BLM. All the donations went towards, from what I understand, funding the lives of the people who were eradicate rather than being reinvested.
Yeah, but they still put money into things that they saw fit. It
in
wasn't
terms of to
LGBTQ. LGBTQ. They didn't. It's like, you know, the Black Panther Party.
Mhm.
They had programs feeding motherless families or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
Yep.
kids in schools. Every kid in school had a lunch every day across the whole of America. That's something for Black lives. You know what I mean? I can understand that. You know what I mean? But what have these guys done? You know what I mean? Like, it's just a slogan, isn't it?
Black Panthers was 60s, that sort of time,
Mm.
wasn't it? I mean, I don't know how qualified I am to assess the situation when it comes to changes today in the Black community that have happened since 2020. But from what I understand, like I say, a lot of what was pushed for BLM was a bit of a front and was kind of selling a bit of a dream sort of thing. In your opinion, what would you want to see? What's something that you could see that, in your opinion, would be undeniable? Okay, they're definitely got the interests of their people. And
Well, from BLM.
Yeah.
Like I said, the Black Panther, a simple thing that they did, the Black Panther Party. I can't remember the name of it. What they called it is feed the schools or feed the kids. It's a feed the kids program. And in the poor communities, in the black neighborhoods in America, every kid that went to school was fed. Poor people could come and eat. It's like a charitable thing. You know what I mean? And they rolled it out, and they got taken out by the deep state again. With what's the word again? There's something called COINTELPRO. I don't know if you've heard of that.
I haven't.
So that's a CIA or FBI. I'm not sure which one. They infiltrated Black organizations like the Black Panthers, Malcolm X to begin with, because Malcolm X got taken out first, but then he was preaching in the he was talking. Him and Martin Luther King were talking in the universities. So when they got taken out, all the kids they spoke to the universities created the Black Panther Party. You know what I mean? And then they got taken out with infiltration, drugs, cocaine, crack in the Black community in America heavily. You know what I mean? So that's how they got infiltrated and taken out. Like, you know how Tupac was a Panther?
I didn't know that.
He was a child Panther. So
I did know that.
yeah,
I did know that.
You know what I mean?
Have you seen the what's it called? Have you seen Snowfall?
Yeah.
Yeah, they go into a lot of detail about
Yeah.
CIA.
It's exactly Snowfall. So that is COINTELPRO. So Snowfall is about COINTELPRO. And the main CIA guy, Teddy. That's it, Teddy. That basically Snowfall is COINTELPRO. Yeah. That's what it is. You know what I mean?
You know, I learned a lot about the 80s and the way that crack was put into the communities by the CIA. I had no idea before watching that show. I researched it as well.
And if you watch Narcos.
I tried watching it like 10
times. Yeah, but Narcos is the other side of it.
They've got the police side.
No, the CIA was also operating in Colombia and Mexico. From Snowfall, Teddy was also operating in Venezuela or wherever, and working with the guerrillas. So they were getting the drugs from Colombia, selling it in America, to then buy weapons for the guerrillas, to send the weapons back to fight against. Yeah. It's nuts, absolutely nuts.
I mean, you know, one thing I always think about is that's the stuff we know about. I think it was one reporter who broke this story about the CIA being massively involved in the crack epidemic that happened in LA and stuff. Imagine all the stuff we don't know about.
Yeah.
Have you heard of, I'm sure you have, MK Ultra?
The mind control. Yeah, I heard of that.
That's fucked.
But I'm a believer in programming.
Programming.
Programming. No, I don't mean like MK Ultra or nothing like that. I mean like programming. Like mantras.
Have you heard of Project Gateway?
I've heard of it. What is it again?
Some
Is that telekinesis? Yeah, I've heard of that.
Exploring different levels of consciousness,
Yeah.
the spirit world and stuff. Very interesting. Apparently there are ways you can access the spirit world, and also kind of, I think the way he described it, his science behind it was combining the left and right side of your brain and accessing this new realm of reality and stuff. You should research it. There's a guy called something Monroe who did it.
Yeah, I've looked into it before, and I think that it's going into the ether. You know, you sleep and you dream. It's that stuff. They're just taking it a bit more advanced. You know what I mean?
Do you want a deep question?
Go on.
What happens after we die?
What do I think happens after we die?
Yeah.
I think is, you know, they say life is what you make it. I think death is what you make it.
How so?
I think wherever your level of consciousness is while you're alive, and wherever you envision when you die, is where you're going to end up. We're that powerful, I believe. If you don't think about it, you could just, and you know, like, reincarnation can happen. But there's too much stuff on like the afterlife. There's too many books from thousands of years ago talking about this stuff. You know what I mean? So I believe anything that's possible is possible. Anything you think is possible is possible. What do you think? What do you think happens when you die?
I'm not sure. There's a shit answer, but in my opinion, I've always thought dreaming is a weird level of consciousness. It's a weird reality that we all experience. So maybe the afterlife is a permanent dream state where, I don't know, our souls.
Can you control your dreams? Have you ever tried?
I've tried. I think I've managed to maybe once.
Yeah, I've done it a few times. Yeah.
Lucid dreaming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not control it as in control the story. I like watching the story, or just to like say to myself in my dream, I'm dreaming, and as soon as I do that, I'm in control of it.
Yeah.
I've done it a few times, consciously done it. You know what I mean? And next part of controlling your dream. Have you ever you're in the middle of a dream? So I've woken up, gone to the toilet, came outside bed and carried on the dream. Have you done that?
Yeah.
But that's control. That's controlling it, isn't
it? Yeah, and that's a good point actually.
No, it is, isn't it?
I saw a study ages ago. Somebody, I think, conditioned themselves with Kylie Minogue. They had pictures of her everywhere before they went to sleep, as they went to sleep, listening to music on repeat, and apparently were doing the most to try and think of Kylie Minogue before they went to sleep. They couldn't remember what they dreamt about when they woke up. I think it's such an internal thing. That makes sense. And I think there's certain things that happen in our day-to-day lives which make us feel certain ways. For example, somebody cuts you up when you're about to like pull out or whatever. Might piss you off a little bit, and maybe an element of your dream that night is going to be somebody cutting you up or something like that. I think we're sponges. I think we're always soaking stuff up. And I've never organically started to control my dream, if that makes sense.
What do you mean?
I've never been in a dream and realised I'm in a dream.
Yeah, I do.
Never done that.
I've done that. You know when I feel I can control my dream, when I had a nightmare, and I said to in a nightmare, I'm not scared. Like I'm in control of this, and I was like, oh shit, and I see like the things scatter away, and I was like, okay, I've got this. You know what I'm saying? That's when but then it's hard to be in that mind state every time you sleep. You know what I mean?
Can imagine.
Because sometimes it's nice, isn't it? Just have a fucking dream. Who cares? You know?
Just tap it into much.
Exactly.
I feel like I want to come back to a few things we've spoken about.
Go on.
So going back to where we were at the beginning, the Boeing, the deep state and stuff.
Yeah.
So the point I was making to you about the whole Elon Musk stuff was now we have a space because he isn't willing to censor certain things. In your opinion, would you say, A, that the world is a different place now because of that, to allow us to speak about that? And if not, why not? And how can we get there?
I think it makes absolutely no difference. The world is not different. It's not a different or better place because Elon Musk has Twitter and it's a free space to speak. The reason I say that, there's an old saying, actions speak louder than words. We could talk all day long. Me and you can sit and talk all day long, but like the guy got killed from Boeing. Nothing's gonna happen. JFK got killed. Nothing's gonna happen. COINTELPRO. Nothing's gonna happen. You know what I'm saying?
Do you not think there's more unrest though? Because I feel like so much shit is happening. And
I'll explain it to you. The playbook we're watching is not like, so we think we're so important. Like we think that in the grand scheme of things, like, you know, Musk taking Twitter, or we've got no control over anything. We've got control over ourselves. Yeah, that's about it. Because the playbook we're watching. Think to yourself, where have you seen this before in antiquity? Where do you think you've seen it before?
This situation?
Yeah. It's the same way it's panning out.
I mean, we've already spoke about it. JFK?
Nah, Rome.
Rome?
Yeah.
Assassinations?
Everything.
Interesting.
Too brute. Like Julius Caesar got killed, same thing.
So-
Jesus Christ got killed, same thing. You know what I'm saying? Like nothing's happening. We just talk.
Rome fell.
Yeah.
Do you think we're close to falling?
I've got no idea. I don't think. No, Rome never fell.
Rome fell.
No, we're still in Rome now. It's the same playbook.
The model is still there.
No, but what I'm saying, like the eagle is America. Rome never fell. Rome turned into the Vatican, which turned into London, turned into the banking system. So it's the same concepts. You understand?
Same concepts.
Yeah.
I think Rome fell though.
I don't think Rome fell.
I think Rome officially fell when Napoleon invaded Germany. I think that's when I believe the emperor at the time decided to dissolve it. I think.
But the emperor stopped. But the system's still the same.
System's the same.
Yeah. It's the same.
Class
I don't think that anything changes until actions get taken and things happen, physically happen. It's the same thing.
See,
you know what I mean? Like,
it's a good debate. It's a good debate.
It's very good. Very good.
See, in my opinion, I think Donald Trump, for just as an example, would have had a lot more of a chance of winning the 2020 election if Elon Musk had owned Twitter at that time. Because the amount of stories that were, I don't know the ins and outs of it, but the Hunter Biden laptop story was suppressed all over Twitter and stuff. Yeah. And maybe some people would have swung their vote. So
no, but we've seen Hunter Biden smoking crack.
I know.
We've seen her. It's not like that's what I'm trying to say.
But we didn't when it mattered. We didn't see that until after the election.
No, but what I mean is that, but we've seen it though.
We have.
It's like, okay, it's like seeing me with a knife committing a murder. But nobody was talking about it at that time, yeah? Then 10 years later,
so let's just say
I did it. You saw me do it. You understand? But nothing's happening. If I don't go to prison and nobody's held accountable, then nothing's changing, in my opinion.
I think the difference is though, say I see you with this knife and I live stream on Instagram. I'm racking up views. I've got 100, 200, 300 and suddenly it's shut off. Suddenly, like all these people that could have known about it and now not going to know about it, and people might even come up to you and say, Renee, give me a hug or something like that. They don't know what you've done. The difference now is, I think if that was streamed using this metaphor, the views will keep on racking up until we get to 1,000, 2,000, 10,000. It wouldn't be stopped.
Yeah, but I don't think Twitter, like, I think personally, nothing. I don't believe anything's going to change. I think that I'm just at a point now where I think that it is what it is.
I'm not going to lie.
If you look after yourself, the only way we could change is if we look after ourselves. If you're stable in thought process and morals are correct, your values are right, and you do what you're doing properly, then the more people that become like that, the better we get. But you can't expect villainous people who are running the world, which is what they are, innit, to change anything, because the program can't change. You know what I mean?
I completely agree with you. In my heart of hearts, I know nothing's ever going to change. I know it's not, and I know we are just pawns on a massive chessboard.
Correct.
So, and I know we don't have a lot of power. If we get to the end of the board, we're not going to become queen.
Nah, yeah.
But at the same time, I think that slowly things are shifting in terms of attitudes. Because again, let's just say that this whole Boeing thing.
But no, tell a lie. You might be right. You know why? We're two different generations.
True.
You know what I mean? So we live in what's it called again? Echo chambers, right? So because I can't see inside your echo chamber, what I'm saying might have no relevance. That might just be like the cynicism of an old man, you know?
No. I see what you mean.
You know what I mean? Like, you might be 100% right, because I don't see your echo chamber. I don't know. There might be billions of people with your thought process right now, and I'm looking at it from my perspective, which is what I can see. And from my perspective, like, you know what I mean? I
think we consume a lot of the same stuff, though. We both like Patrick Bet-David. We both like Candace Owens, and they're kind of, on one side of the.
No, I like things that they say. You know what I mean? I like certain things that they say. It's a reality. I like the reality they speak. Does that make sense? They don't sugarcoat it. Like what they say, Patrick Bet-David, Candace Owens, like, cause I don't contribute to the Republican, Democrat. I don't care about any of that. I think it's all nonsense.
We're not American anyway.
No, but what I mean is that it's the same thing over here, like Labour. I think it's all nonsense, in my opinion. It doesn't make any difference. You know what I mean?
I think it's different over here. I think in America there's way more of a divide. But I mean, if you read the news and stuff, then you'll see that apparently the UK is really, really divided and stuff, and people have disagreements. I mean, based on my experiences, like whenever I go out and I see people, I don't think you're left or you're right. I'm going to judge you differently.
No, but I think that we're in an environment, a very multicultural environment. One thing I figured out is stepping outside of our echo chamber, our bubble, or where we are, yeah. And then when you go to other places that are a bit less diverse, you see it. Trust me, you see it. You see people with different thought process who can't even imagine, like, You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
knowing
environment,
20
isn't
different races of people or religions of people. They couldn't even imagine it. You know what I mean? Like they have this set in their way. That's how they see the world. Nothing else to it. You know what I mean?
I think, depending on where you are, depending on the demographic, it might be different. I've only ever lived in Reading, which, as you say, is a fairly multicultural place.
Very multicultural. Very multicultural.
And I think in America, I think you get more deep-rooted beliefs one way or the other.
It's more segregated.
Yeah,
it's a lot more segregated.
Oh, yeah, actually, yeah, I would.
You've got multicultural areas like cities and stuff, but it's very segregated. Like from what I understand of America,
I've never been to America, but based on what I learned,
understand,
about America,
same as that.
If I'm not mistaken, though, this is way above my pay grade. But the people who I listen to, your Candace Owens and stuff, Vivek Ramaswamy, PBD. One of the things they push massively when it comes to race in America is, I think there was something in the 70s, which might have been Nixon, might have been Lyndon B. Johnson, could have been anybody, or Jimmy Carter or somebody. But apparently there was some kind of bill which was passed, which meant if you are a black single mother in America, then you're entitled to certain income from the government, basically to bring up your family.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I don't know the ins and outs of it, but I think that's roughly how it works. I could be way off. And this
No. I think I saw a podcast recently regarding that. I don't know much about that either, but I didn't know that was a thing. But I heard they were knocking doors to make sure there were no dads living in the houses.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
So
dependency. It's a dependency state. That's what they call it.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's designed so you keep on coming back.
But I think it's the same thing over here.
To an extent.
Yeah, because there's a lot. I think there's a lot more benefits to women without fatherless. Not blacks or anything like that, but for anybody.
I agree.
White, any background. I'm pretty sure there's a lot more benefits given to fatherless families than there are to a full family that's below the earning potential. You know, like the national salary. Yeah.
There's a lot of incentives in place, and on the one hand, it does support the people who need the financial support. In some cases in America, some opinions are that it could potentially be an incentive for single or black women to not have a father in the home, as they will get the extra benefit. And
but it would make sense if you imagine if you're a father now and you got a family, but you don't earn. Imagine if the benefits are more if you didn't live with your family. You still love your missus. You still like whatever. You still see your children and look after them, but you get more money than you're earning in your current job if you weren't with your family. Like that's why it won't surprise me if people make the decision to do that. You know what I mean?
But then why not just offer this income to low-income families?
No, but that is for low-income families. It's for everyone.
Is that in the UK? Or is that...
Both, I think.
Both,
I think, yeah.
Because again, I'm not researched enough to like say this or that. I didn't realise it was for families. I thought it was an incentive for single women, for mothers.
No, but that's what I mean. Like, I'm talking about a single mother, but the father might not be dead. The father might be living like across town. You know what I mean? Or you know what I mean? Like, but it's not financially beneficial for them to live in the same house. Because if they did, they'd have less money. So it's a dependency thing. And
that's a problem.
Massive problem. Yeah.
I think, again, like if a mother has to make that decision, regardless of like the colour of their skin, if they have to make a decision, my child is going to grow up without a dad, or I don't know if it happens the other way around, but my child is going to grow up without a dad and I'm going to get paid for it. I can't let my kid have both. I can't give them a decent upbringing and a 2-parent household.
Or between the two of us, we can't afford to do that. Yeah. So it's bad. It's bad. But there's, again, the gist of it is a broken home. Children from a broken home can be molded and brainwashed. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying about the what's the word called again? I said earlier about the programming. It's all programming from what I see. The news is programming, school is programming, like even our echo chambers right now. It's all programming. It's what you choose. So I don't really watch television. I choose to brainwash myself. Yeah. I choose to put the information I want in my own head. I'm not here to like follow this watch the news and get just that. You know what I mean?
What's the difference between programming and propaganda?
They're two different things.
How so?
So propaganda is direct programming.
Okay, so it's like a cause and effect.
Yeah, so propaganda is like, it's direct programming. So how I see it, I might be right, I might be wrong, I got no idea. But propaganda to me is, I'm focusing this information at this person or this group of people. Whereas programming is any form of repetitive, directed. So, am I saying the same thing?
I don't think
Because
so.
you can have indirect programming.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You can have
Give me an example.
subliminal programming. You could be like
Can I give you an example? Maybe an example.
Go on.
So let's just say you listen to a certain genre of music,
Mhm.
and something that's, as a society, you've been raised to be told isn't good. For example, something like taking drugs, and then you're constantly told via music that it's normal.
That's propaganda.
Is that? Is it?
So programming is just, to me, propaganda is a method of programming. But I think that there's subliminal programming, there's indirect programming, there's direct programming, there's self-programming, which is what you could choose which books to read. You could choose which philosophy to follow. You could choose what music to listen to. You could choose not to listen to a particular music. You know what I mean? Like, that's self-programming. You know what I mean? But propaganda is direct. It's like, we have this agenda and we're going to push this agenda. We want these people to believe this story. That's how I see propaganda.
So where's the line drawn between self-programming and being programmed by someone external like the government? Where's that line? So, for example, I might choose to listen to this music, but maybe I'm listening to this music because of other programming that's happened in my life that's led me up to this point. So now I'm self-programmed, I'm programmed, and I'm under the impression it's all self-programmed. That makes sense. So my question, what's the difference? How do you know you're self-programming and not being, not the content?
No, you're always the product. I think you're always a product of you've been programmed already through your family, through school, through your community, through where you grew up. You've already been programmed from a young age, right? But it gets to a point where, like, I think the conversation we're having is where you're aware of that programming now. And because you're aware of it, you're now consciously selecting what you now want to, with our computers, right? So the drive gets filled up to begin with ideology. So parents might think a certain way, community might think a certain way. So you got that ideology in your mind, yeah? And then as you're going, you get to a point, some people just carry on with it. They don't bother checking it. They're good with that. You know what I mean? Like, they're in their community, they've grown up that way, grandparents were that way, parents were that way, they're that way, community's that way, they're fine with that. Some people snap out of it. They get that light bulb moment.
Epiphany.
Yeah. And then they start questioning everything, which is what I think we're doing here right now. You start looking at everything. Hold on a minute. Am I being pushed in that direction? Is that conscious, self-made decision? There's a word for it.
Like what's the word? Subconscious.
Yeah. Is that a subconscious thought, or is that a conscious thought I've just made? Why do I think like this? Like you said, am I programming myself, or is this a program I'm enacting? You know what I mean?
I think it's quite a physical thing as well. I think there's biology behind it when it comes to that sort of stuff. If you see, I can imagine somebody seeing an advert for a Big Mac or something like that, seeing the same advert over and over again to the point where they see that advert, they salivate. In sales,
you ask the question 3 times.
What question?
Any question.
Give an example.
Do you want to buy it?
No, I'm good.
Cool. We carry on. Do you want to buy it?
No, I'm good.
Cool. We carry on. Normal conversation, talking. Half an hour later, sure you don't want to buy it?
Go on then.
That's how apparently it works. You know what I mean? It's all psychology, in my opinion. Like, and you're right. Some of it is programmed. Some of it is not programmed. Like, it's just my thought process is just try my best to consciously make the right decision. That's it. And obviously psychoanalyze myself. So obviously, whatever this is, end of the day, I have talked to myself end of every day. And I look back at some situations, jump out at me like, why did you do that? Why did you say that?
In the shower, I think it's stuff.
Oh yeah, no, shower gives me great ideas. So shower gives me answers to what I need answered, to what direction I'm going. So the shower is crazy. Like, my greatest and worst decisions have been made in the shower.
Really? Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's so many different things we've spoken about. We almost need to start a series and break all of these down individually, all of these subjects. I think
we're gonna have to watch this back.
100%.
and then go. Cause we have this. We had this conversation how many times? Multiple times. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to sit down or watch it back and be like, okay, or pick what we want to go into, and then dissect that and open it up.
100%. 100%.
You know what I mean?
So there's a lot we could speak about. Conspiracy theories. Give me some examples of conspiracy theories that you're so convinced are real, true.
Okay, I'm not gonna give you the answer to that. I'm gonna give you a conspiracy theory that I don't know if it's true.
Okay.
And because I don't know if it's true or if it's a lie, this is a real conspiracy theory. There's a lot that has been proven. Okay, I'll ask you one question. Is the earth flat or round?
Round.
Why?
I've seen on Facebook.
Go on.
When I scroll through groups and stuff, I've seen The Office, love The Office. I'm in an office group. I'm in loads of different groups, and I'll always get suggested flat Earth stuff. And I'm always every day seeing the Earth's round, explain this. The Earth's round, explain that. And I've seen so many different variations of examples of how the Earth is flat. There's no one consistent. This is it. I've seen it where there's a ring of fire around the Earth, a ring of ice around the Earth. I've seen it that there's like just solid below us and above us, it just keeps going. I've seen so much. I think the Earth is round because you can see the ISS, the International Space Station, at certain points in the day. I think there would have to be so much organisation for such a big lie to exist. The Earth was proven round by those ancient Roman, Greek philosophers and stuff. I'm guessing you think the Earth is flat. Oh no, you said you're not sure.
I said no until I'm proven categorically. So you said the Romans. I'm gonna go back to that. Every ancient thing I've come across, the Egyptians, Anut, I think it's called. It's like a goddess. They show a flat Earth.
Anunnaki?
No, Anut. Not Anunnaki, Anut. Yeah. But they show a flat Earth. So a few things that jump out at me. Egyptians definitely showed a flat Earth. There's a gentleman called Admiral Byrd, Byrd. I dare you open this can of worms.
Admiral Byrd.
Byrd, Byrd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a flavour.
Indiana Jones.
I haven't seen it.
You've never seen Indiana Jones? Oh wow.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh wow. Well, this is the real Indiana Jones.
Really?
This is who Indiana Jones is based on.
What's his name?
Admiral Byrd. Admiral Byrd. He's an admiral in the Navy.
Byrd.
And he was going out to get the relics. So Adolf Hitler was going out to get relics from ancient times because everything is in antiquity. Any answers you want right now is in antiquity. If you go to like Sumeria, Egypt, all these places, you can find most of the answers, right? So Admiral Byrd was going to beat him to the punch. And Admiral Byrd flew over the ice wall.
Oh.
The ice wall around the Earth.
Okay.
The South Pole, I think they call it, on the map, is an ice wall because the magnet points to the center of the Earth. Everything else is south. So he flew over the ice wall for miles.
How did you know?
Because he said it. There's interviews of him talking about it in his own voice. It's not made up. He said, I got there, there's continents the size larger than Africa on the other side of the ice wall.
My first reaction is, why would he lie? My next reaction is, all these years later, 100 years later, when we're on a podcast mentioning his name, that's a good reason to lie. Why?
He didn't foresee that, did he?
He might have done.
Another thing I'll throw in spanner in the works. The United Nations. What's a flag?
I know.
It even shows the ice wall as a wreath.
See, or for me, it's just a creative design.
But why?
Well, it could have been a triangle, but it doesn't mean it's Bermuda Triangle.
No, but what I'm saying, why the United Nations? This isn't.
Maybe we are one. We are all in this circle together.
Nah, but it's exactly the same. It is the dimension of that is because the deep state, whatever you want to call it. We can go deeper. We could go so much deeper into this, like, because another show maybe. I won't even mention it because it's so much deeper.
What, flat Earth stuff?
No, it goes beyond flat Earth.
Right.
But we'll talk about that another time. But they have to. It's called predictive programming. They can't just lie. They have to show you the truth, but lie to you at the same time. You understand?
No. How? So
The rules of the game, they have to tell you what they're really doing. That's why Simpsons predicts stuff. They have to tell you what they're going to do before they do it. So if the earth was really flat, they can't just lie to you and hide it all. Mm-hmm. They have to show it to you in your face and then say to you the earth is round for you to then say the earth is round. Mm-hmm. But they've showed it to you so they can pull it off. You know what I mean?
Why is Admiral Byrd's word as valuable to you as everything we both learned when we were growing up about the earth and physics?
Because, like I said, so if you research any further than the Greeks who said the earth was round, before that it was flat. Ancient antiquity all said it was flat. They all said that. You know what I mean? Like you go Sumeria, you go Egypt, you go all of them. You can see symbols of round, not from above, but from the side. Flat plane and over. You go into holy books, they say the earth is a plane. A planet. It's a plane. You know what I mean? That's what they say. They don't say it's a circle. And the people that say the earth is round, when they figure this out, they never had the technology. They didn't have the technology. And I get the answers you've seen. I've seen it where you can only see this start, this point, that start, that point. If you stand in the southern hemisphere, but again, there's both facts on both sides. So that's what I'm saying. It's not that I believe that. It's that I haven't conclusively been proven that it's not. And if a man's telling me that he flew, I believe what I see. Mm-hmm. And if somebody's come on to like a BBC broadcast and that's an interview with Admiral Byrd, multiple interviews, and they got chased out of the South Pole by flying discs and stuff. And he said this with much higher technology with trash stickers on them. You understand?
So Hitler?
No, Hitler followed another mythology, innit?
Did you say they've got the Nazi signs on them?
Yeah, but the Nazi sign was way before in Tibet, ancient Tibet. So that's where they got it from.
Yeah, it was a peace sign, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then they flipped.
But it gets deeper. That's what I mean. It gets deeper. You know what I mean?
There's a lot to unpack there.
All I want you to do is check out Admiral Byrd.
Oh, I definitely
From this, when you watch it, when it's edited, it goes out and you watch it back. Mm-hmm. Admiral Byrd. Yeah.
Admiral Byrd.
That's it.
But why? Why would they lie to us about it?
What do you mean?
It doesn't change my life if the earth is flat. If anything, all it's going to do is...
Maybe it changes our reality.
How so?
How we see the world.
If I say to you this is metal, it doesn't like change your...
No, but it changes how big continents are, how close people are to each other. It changes that drastically.
If let's just say, I don't know, the government or deep state really wanted to control the population, and as a result, they put loads of tiny little like ingredients and stuff to slowly kill the population, not keep it getting too big and stuff. If that got out, that would change people's lives. But if it got out that the earth is flat, I don't see what...
Again, I don't know. I don't have the answer to that because this was formulated years before, generations ago. So the people in control now probably know why the people in control then formulated this lie. But I don't know.
Maybe we'll know after we die. Maybe we'll be sent to some realm where everything suddenly makes sense. I just can't understand what the benefit would be of lying.
There's something called a firmament also. Which is a dome over the earth.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, the firmament. So it goes all the way around the ice wall. And it's a dome, protecting us from the elements on the outside.
Sounds like the ozone layer.
Yeah, basically that. And there's records of them shooting missiles at it to try and crack it. And if you go further into it, you see Hillary Clinton talking about it. Literally talking about it. There's deep things going on, like demonic stuff going on that has to do with all of this that are beyond me. You know what I mean? Like,
I'm open-minded. I'm very, very, very open to the possibility and aware that what you and I are told and have been told about certain things is bullshit.
Take it with a pinch of salt. That's what I say.
I take a lot with a pinch of salt. I just feel, again, the idea that there's some kind of big dome that's over
one second.
the earth.
1 second.
It just doesn't add up to me.
Yo, bro, coming to the door now, yeah? Outro.
I think our outro needs to be arranging when we're next gonna do this. To be honest,
okay. Because we have to continue this conversation again.
100%. But I think we've covered so many things. I think everything we need. We
gotta watch it back. The only thing we gotta do is watch this back. But all I ask, Admiral Byrd. Yeah. Next time. Yeah.
I'll jump in it right now.
Yeah.
Right now.
All right. Cool.